Alright, to start our process of mixing our epoxy to go over our threads, you need to get all our supplies together. Your 2-part epoxy, your resin and your hardener, your corresponding syringes, and if you will note on there, it has 1, 2, 3. 2 is the minimum you have to use. If it's under 2, it's not going to work right. It's not going to have the correct chemical reaction. So 2 is always a minimum. Doesn't matter if you're only doing one little touch up, 2 is the minimum. I use a mixing bowl, and then to extend your pot life or so it doesn't dry as fast, you have more time to work with it, I use aluminum dish. You can take another mixing cup, put tin foil in it, and it'll do the same thing. But I always mix in a clear mug or cup first. Your alcohol for cleanup, your mixing spatula, and of course your brush for applying. I love to use these flat brushes. When I first get them, I'll clean them, soap and water, let them dry, and then I'll trim so they are flat across the top. And then the last thing you will need will be either, I use a alcohol torch to heat to get the bubbles out, what I'll show you, or you can use a hair dryer or heat gun, but it must be low heat and low air. I have found to use the denatured alcohol torch much easier for myself. We have our hardener and your syringe. I always go hardener, so it doesn't get mixed up or contaminated. Then your resin. Pull upside down and just fill up your syringe. I always go below the 2 and then push up. In this case I'm doing a little more, so I'm going to 3 because I have 2 rods I have to do. Pull it out, set it aside, cap, as you can see, a lot of times you do suck up air. That's alright. Let's get a little more. Push air in. Right to 3. With the Pro Coat, as you can see, one is clearish, one is yellow. I just dump it in the dish, re-clean my syringes. I have used these ones here for over a year and have no issues with this syringes as long as you don't contaminate them, cross-contaminate them. You'll be good. Now, as you can see, it's all in little mixing. You can still see it separated. All you do is I tilt it at an angle and just like a cement mixer, back and forth. You're trying not to induce air into it, not by, like with cake batter going 100 miles an hour, nice and slow. Just back and forth. All you're looking for is a color change. They'll mix the white and yellow, it'll go cloudy, then it'll go clear. And just back and forth, fold it in, fold it in. I use a metal scraper. They say not to use wood like a popsicle stick. I've never had any issues using a popsicle stick. I just have always used the metal because it's a flat end where I can get and make sure it's all in the grooves of the cup. That should be good. I just move it from mixing cup to my aluminum. As you can see, hopefully you can see that there are bubbles in there. It's not a necessary step, but what I like to do, if you start out clean, hopefully your end product will be clean. Clean as in no bubbles. You can take your hair dryer and just get a little squirt, just a little bit. If you had your hair dryer, just, and all you're doing is you're removing the bubbles before you even start. Now we're going to go into applying. Alright, we're going to do epoxy in. Well, you get your supplies out first. I have mixing cup, hardener, resin, 50-50 mix, corresponding syringes. I use aluminum cups. You can take a tin foil, put it inside a paper plate. I'll explain why later. Mixing device and your applicator. So, oops. I try not to mix because, or cross-contaminate. Resin. And all you are doing, I use Pro Coat. Basically it's all the kind of the same. You have increments on your syringe. The minimum you need is 2. All I do is just draw it down. You get air in it, that's fine. Just push it up till you get to 2. Put in your mixing dish. Take your hardener. And same thing too. It's a 50-50 mix. Like I said, 2 is the minimum. If I'm doing a 9-foot rod, I usually will go with 2.5 to 3. It's best to have too much than not enough. I'll set those aside, and I just take it in the mixing cup and pour it in. Take paper towel, wipe my syringe. Hardener is the dark. So I'm gone. If you do not cross-contaminate, meaning like the resin syringe is always resin, hardener is always, you can reuse these multiple times. I think I've had these ones that like a year and a half, maybe 2 years. I've used the same. Set those aside. Now, you can use popsicle stick, metal back end of a paintbrush. I have found I use this metal spatula because I can get in the corners of the cup. You're not going to heavy mix it, just back and forth. You have to look at whatever epoxy you are using. Some of it will say mix for 5 minutes minimum. I have found with the Pro Coat that you get the yellow and the white or the clear. It'll mix, it'll turn cloudy, and then it'll go back to clear. Once it has done that, then it's ready to work with. I say just back and forth, not heavy mixing, not scrambling, because you do not want to induce air into it. The cleaner you start with, the cleaner it's going to go onto your application. Once you are satisfied with your mixture, then pour it into my tin, or if you have your aluminum foil on your paper plate, you can do that. The reason you put it on tin foil, or in my case aluminum cup, is one, it spreads it out, which will help release the bubbles or the air from it, and two, the aluminum foil or the tin cup extends the life or the pot life of your mixture. It doesn't cure as fast if you just had it in a cup. And I just let it spread out. This is not a necessary step, but I do it. You can take your hair dryer at this time, low heat, low fan, and just, as you can see, there's bubbles in there in your mixture. That will take it out. What I do is, because I have an alcohol burner, or not alcohol, and all I do So once it's spread out, I just apply heat. And takes all your bubbles out. Next we're going to go on to applying your epoxy. I normally use my power and put it on fast. That way I can spread it out more. But because most will not use a power wrapper, just a regular rod dryer that goes like anywhere from 9 to 18 revolutions per minute, I'm just going to put mine on the wrap position and try and apply it. I'll try and, when I apply mine, I just take from the brush and I have how it's rolling towards me, and all I just take your brush, dip it in, put it on here, and move it, and move it. You don't want it so it's dripping, dripping, dripping. Just the first coat is just basically you're just covering the threads. That's all you're doing, is just covering the threads. I like to use a flat top brush. I will take brushes, trim the sides, cut them so it looks like that. I have found that works so much nicer for myself. Some people, instead of going this way, come on girl, oh no, she ain't gonna work. Basically, if you turn your dryer off, turn it back on, it'll rotate the other way so you can go over the top. But I must have burned mine out, the motor. But just take your time, even coat. If you get too much on your brush, you either scrape it out, or like I just did, just put it on the top. You'll get it. You'll work your way. And I just go from the butt of the rod, working my way towards the front. If you see a spot you miss, just back and forth, go and grab it. You see, oh, let me stop. There, might be a little easier to see. I'm just working it, going from, like I said, from the butt on the left end, working my way all the way back up. All this epoxy is what they call self-leveling. So even though you may look at it and you think, oh, I got a high spot here, by it just keep rotating around, it will level itself out. You just want to make sure you have an even, from left to right, an even coat. That way you don't have wobbles in it. Once you are satisfied with your application of your, then we're going to go into, if you see bubbles or to help it, now is the time where you take your hair dryer, low heat, low fan, and just back and forth, back and forth. I can't use a hair dryer because if I do it, you'll hear it. So I'm just using my torch. I'm just applying some heat under it. It'll help it spread it. If you're using heat, do not use a candle, anything that has an orange, a Bic light or anything like that, because that black smoke is going to get into your epoxy. And if you are using a light color, you will definitely see it. If I have any air bubbles, say I had an air bubble right on this side, I can take this because it has a vent on it and it'll just give it a squeeze right on it. There we go, that's looking good. And that's applying epoxy. Alright, air bubbles are done. I'm satisfied. Now you're going to do is just going to let it spin. Let it spin. It is now, say, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I'll check on it in an hour just to make sure I don't have any exposed air bubbles. If I do, hit them with the hair dryer, hit them with the torch, whatever you're using. This mixing goes in the trash. I take my mixing dish and I leave it. So tomorrow morning, mid-morning, whatever, when I come down to check on it, I'll touch my finger in here first just to see if it's hard. If it's hard, that's my first test. Then I'll take the back of my hand or my back of my finger and touch one of the ends. Don't touch in the middle and don't use your finger because it will leave a fingerprint. If it's nice and hard, just touch somewhere on the end, because if you get a fingerprint or something in it, you can take some light sandpaper, some wet sand like 1000 grit, get it out, and then put on your next coat of epoxy. Like I said, I just let it spin. I'll come back in an hour, check on it just to make sure it's still spinning, and check for bubbles. And that be it.